It is currently 9:56 p.m. I am alone in my room, and I had the brilliant idea to record my voiceover for Longlegs right now, of all times. It's gonna be challenging. I'm really interested to see how I'm gonna edit this. You're probably looking at footage of mountains and stars right now. This is very different from my usual editing style. Usually I try to be really precise about what I show, but I don't want to show anything from Longlegs. I would usually rewatch the movies that I'm talking about and do research on it beforehand, but Longlegs is a special exception. So it's gonna be pretty scuffed, but I see that as a compliment to how well this movie does its horror. I feel like we've seen movies like Longlegs before, but Longlegs does its execution very uniquely, and everything feels so visceral and real and haunting. I can't really put my finger on what exactly makes this movie so mesmerizingly horrific. I think a part of it has to do with the, spoilers by the way, magic dolls and just sorcery in this film. Another thing also might be the way they use colors and color grading in this film, and of course the performances by all the actors, but especially Nicolas Cage. Music as well, the sound design is incredible, but I'm sure there's more to it than just that. There's something to this movie that gives it that extra oomph. Could be the Satanism. I'm not that well versed enough in horror films to really dissect what makes this so unique, but yeah, this film is horrifying. The prosthetic work or slash makeup on Nicolas Cage is odd. It's out of this world, and that song that he sings has gone TikTok famous, so it's hard to get that out of your head when it reaches that position. I think there's t-shirts with the song on them. Even Longlegs can't escape capitalism. Maybe that is the true horror of this whole thing, capitalism. No, I think the true horror of this is, from what I remember, maybe religion. The mom is like a religious preacher or something. She's in the church. She has like a role in the church, I believe. And I mean, yeah, this movie explores Satanism, so I think religion is a huge part of this movie, and I think maybe what they were going for is just to showcase the dangers of extreme religionism and how that can be used against people to their detriment rather than their benefit. And me being a spiritual person, I can appreciate that for sure. I don't think this film means to harm anyone or offend anyone, especially anyone religious. I guess it more so shows how people can weaponize religion and faith and belief to prey on others. One part of this movie that I find sweet is the relationship between the mom and the daughter, aka our main character. When she's not being a homicidal maniac, of course, the mom. I think the whole, she did it because she wanted to protect her daughter is a sweet angle that has been done before in horror films. I think Conjuring 1 or 2 had a similar plotline and motive for their characters. You know, just doing something bad to protect a loved one is a pretty common motive in films and stories. But this one's very creepy. Making a doll or like assisting someone to make a doll version of your daughter, and then like, I think there's like a ball put into the dolls that controls them or links them to the dolls or something like that. That might be pushing it a bit. Mom. I don't even remember the name of the characters except for Longlegs. I'm so sorry, this is so scuffed, but I don't want to watch this movie again. I don't even know if I'm gonna sleep tonight. It's now what, 10:12 p.m? Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna sleep tonight. Let's see what else. Yeah, the doll part, that was pretty interesting. I don't think I've ever really seen something like that. I mean, like, killer dolls and demonic dolls have been done before, like Chucky and Annabelle, but using dolls to like control or manipulate someone in the specific way that this film is doing it is pretty novel and incredibly creepy, especially since Longlegs usually preys on like these people when they're young. He creates these dolls when they're like children, and then he just, I think, stores them and then quote unquote activates them when they're older. This movie also has that thing about birthdays. I'm not too sure what that's supposed to symbolize. I think it has something to do with that like triangle shape or lake shape that they revealed like at the later part of the film, but I didn't really understand it. Once again, might have something to do with Satanism. But yeah, I don't think my birthday falls on any of those dates, so hallelujah. It was sad to see the cop guy and his family becoming a victim of Longlegs. I mean, they foreshadowed that pretty much from the beginning, but you know, to see it actually happening and seeing him and his family getting caught in Longlegs' scheme like that was sad for sure. But on the bright side, our main character, who I still don't know the name of, put an end to Longlegs' scheme, or at least that's what it looked like. She saved the child, presumably the cop guy's child, but you know, she had to kill her mom for that. So I hope they're both safe, and I hope that there isn't a sequel to Longlegs or a prequel. I mean, don't get me wrong, I hope the movie is successful. I don't want this concept to propagate and extend any longer than it already has. You know what, actually, I take that back. I hope they make a bazillion spin-offs of this. I just won't watch it. That's the better solution. Yeah, movie's just done really well. Cinematography is great. Performances, I mean, Nicolas Cage is just incredible in this. The actress who played the main character was also really good. The mom was great. Kiernan Shipka was in this for a brief period of time. Her character was really interesting. The quote-unquote plot twist with the mom being Longlegs' accomplice was pretty predictable. I mean, they have like similar hairstyles and looks. It was more so just trying to find out the why rather than the who for me. Yeah, I'm interested to see maybe who you guys thought Longlegs' accomplice was and what their potential motive could have been for working with him. I mean, at some point, I did think that our main character was Longlegs' accomplice and she was like having her memories erased or something like that. The movie frames it like that sometimes, but mostly I was pretty sure it was the mom. But yeah, our main character is pretty complex, and I feel so sorry for her that she had to experience this kind of trauma and just burden throughout it pretty much her entire life. And I still don't know what happened to her with the like ball inside the doll thing where her mom shot her doll in the head. Like, what happened to her? I like the setting that this film was set in. I don't know where this was shot, but I like the winter setting. I think that added quite a bit to the narrative and the horror. I don't know, that setting just felt right and complimentary. But yeah, this movie is smart. There's a lot of clever framing and just clever sequences in this film. So even though it does seem like I'm not a fan of this film, that's not the case. It's an incredible film, very clever and smart and well thought through. It's just I'm not the biggest fan of horror and Satanism and like killing and horror and violence and all that stuff. It's a personal thing, but I'm trying, you know. I did a video on Nosferatu where I foreshadowed this video on Longlegs. And Longlegs, I applaud you. You wonderfully mesmerizing, horrific, demonic, gorgeous film. If you like horror, absolutely check out Longlegs. If you don't, then watch The Florida Project instead. That's all for me. I would love to hear what you thought about this movie and whether you would want a Longlegs sequel, prequel, spin-off, anything like that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read them. Thank you for being here. Stay safe and have a wonderful day.